Yeah. Good day, everyone. Today, we are from Group 4. It's supposed to be me, Jofan, and Phoenix. And actually, there's one more, Zaden, but Miss Retno already decided not to continue with Zaden. So now we just have 3 members of Group 4. But unfortunately, 2 of my other members cannot attend this recording, which is why I'm doing this recording by myself. Okay, so first up, we're gonna go through the table of contents. On the first page, we're gonna talk about the background of the case. Then we're gonna focus the issue of the case itself, which falls under focus problem. And on the third page, we're gonna explain our purpose of research and then get into the general idea of multinational companies. And finally, we're going to analyze deeper into the industry of Nigeria's instant noodles. And then we're going to analyze the strategy of Indofood themselves, internationalizing to Nigeria. After that, we're also going to analyze about the Indofood supply chain management in Nigeria. And finally, the last few conclusion phase and our discussion phase falls under the Indofood's challenges in Nigeria, pastel analysis, which will change into something of a more towards the Dowling's analysis. And then we're going to talk about the Indofood's HR activities. And finally, the last 2 slides, Indofood's merger with Pine Hill Corporation or Corpora. And we're moving and closing it up with a conclusion. Okay, so first up, the background of the case itself. What do we want to showcase in this particular project? We want to show that Indomie is an Indonesian noodle brand, very famous in Indonesia. I'm pretty sure the audience recognized what the Indomie products in Indonesia. It's very popular. By PT Indofood Sukses Makmur. The company and the product was first launched in 1982. So when Indofood established their company, their first product is Indomie. It's very famous, deeming it as the most delicious noodle brand by most Indonesian consumers. And Indomie becomes a staple of culture, mind, and the penetration of how the organization impacts the culture. If you do a general census on whether people want to order noodles, they probably ask for, do you have Indomie? Indomie becomes a staple name for instant noodles in Indonesia. Same as a name of another brand in the drink industry, mineral water industry, Aqua. That brand is also really popular. When you order at a restaurant and order mineral water, you immediately ask for Aqua, even though they have other brands such as Le Mineral or Ades and so on and so forth. So Indomie becomes a staple product brand, as it can be said. But Indomie's popularity extended beyond Indonesia, specifically to the country of Nigeria. In the scope of multinational company or abbreviation MNC. Okay, so we're going to explain about the focus problem. As an original Indonesian product, the Indomie brand managed to earn its reputation in Nigeria and African countries somehow. And this particular situation was seen by Indofood, the company themselves, as a great opportunity. This begs the question, though, in the perspective of human resource management. So some of the focus problems were narrowed down into these questions. So how does Indofood manage their internationalization to Nigeria? That's the first question. The second one is what type of management do they conduct? And last question, how does Indofood control and monitor their operation in Nigeria? So those are the focus problems that we're going to solve in this particular project. So we're moving to purpose of research. So in order to answer the questions proposed in the previous slide, we'll first investigate Indofood's progression in Nigeria, which falls under the market analysis and the industry analysis as well, analyzing its growth and strategies, which will then be related to Dowling's theory on multinational business approach. So the Dowling theory that we're going to cover later on is the multinational business approach in international human resource management. We're moving to a deeper topic, diving down into Nigeria's instant noodles industry. So 3 highlights of their industry is the first one, instant noodles is a high demand product. The demand of instant noodles in Nigeria is amongst the highest in the world. As of 2020, Nigeria is positioned as the 11th country with the highest instant noodles demand. The specific number of the demand reaches 1.79 billion packs of noodles annually. So this shows how big the market is and how the demand balance out the supply. And plus, instant noodles products are generally cheap to produce and easy to distribute. But on Indomie's case, it's an interesting loophole within this relation, which I will further explain in the next slide. And the second highlight is Indomie's positioning in the Nigerian market. Ever since its initial introduction to the Nigerian market in 1988, remember, they was first established in 1982, and in 1988 they managed to penetrate international market such as Nigeria. Now, Indomie has been dominating the market throughout the years, controlling at least 70% of the Nigerian instant noodles market. Imagine how big the demand for Indomie really is if the Indomie brand itself attains 70% of the Nigerian instant noodles market. So it's practically dominating the market themselves. And the last highlight is pricing of instant noodles in Nigeria. So this will show how the consumers think, how the consumers see value in these products. So instant noodles in Nigeria is a staple food due to it being affordable and packed with flavors. The majority of instant noodles product are priced between 0.15 cent to 20 cents. So these prices are very affordable, especially in the Nigerian market, which is why the Nigerian consumers loved the product, as the culturally they already got penetrated, and Indomie was seen as Nigerian's food instead of Indonesian food. So that's an interesting take on this case. Okay, moving forward. Indofood's internationalization to Nigeria. So same format as the previous slide. I will show 3 crucial years in Indomie's journey. So the key timelines presented played a huge role in Indomie's success in Nigeria, from its starting point up until the most recent update. These are some of the most important years for Indomie. So 1995, we already established in the background that Indomie was established by Indofood in 1982, and they managed to expand their market to the Nigerian market in 1988. And now in 1995, Indofood opened its first manufacturing factory for the Indomie brand in Nigeria in collaboration with Dufil Prima Foods. But Indomie soon conduct closer partnership with Pine Hill Corpora as the local distributor. So Pine Hill Corpora is the local distributor. Well, they will distribute the products to the consumers. And 2014, despite the fact that there are around 17 instant noodle brands in Nigeria, this creates some risk that Nigeria is very much really open to new instant noodle products. But Indomie preserved and achieved 71% of market control as of 2014. So although the market itself is very open to penetrate and to get into, so the risk of new entrants is still there, but Indomie is already lamenting with the consumers and lamenting with the culture in Nigeria, which is why Indomie is so popular until it actually increased from the 70% of their attained market in Nigeria in 1988 to now in 2014, they controlled 71%. So there's a 1% increase in that control of the market. And 2020, Salim Wazadan Group, the head head company of Indofood, the parent company to be exact, acquired Pine Hill Corpora with a majority of its shares of 59%. So Salim Wazadan Group invested 59% of their shares to Pine Hill Corpora, which is why Pine Hill Corpora is essentially being acquired by Salim Wazadan Group. And the business was really strong here. The bonding of the Indomie with the local distributor is very much very commendable. And next slide, we're going to talk about Indofood supply chain management. So Indofood's process in supply chain management is rather simple. We're just supplier to production to distribution, and distribution they can immediately sell it to the customers, or they want to sell it off at the retailer to be sold to the end customers. So Indofood supply chain management is rather simple. What makes Indofood supply chain management difficult is in the promotion and distribution handling on local Nigerian market. This reason is why Indofood applied host country national strategy for the Nigerian market. So we understand that in Nigeria, Indomie product was popularized by the distributor there, the Pine Hill Corpora. But as their partnership grew and grew and grew and grew, and finally, Indofood or the parent company of Indofood managed to acquire the local distributor. So this is an interesting case. We will now move on to the next slide. So Indofood's challenges in Nigeria. So although Indomie is a thriving product in Nigeria, it must be understood that Indofood is not the only company that sees the Nigerian market to be a very potential market to tap into for the instant noodles industry. With 17 noodles brands exist ever since 2014, and it's still growing. The most recent data that we could found is by the 2014, where the WINA, or the World Association of Instant Noodles Industry, is conducting collaboration to create an open data regarding the instant noodles industry. So the pastel analysis, we're gonna skip over this for a bit, and we're gonna focus on the Indofood HR activities for cross-border acquisition. So this is where the Dowling's theory really comes in. There are external factors or organizational factors, HR function, and the Indofood performance themselves are presented. Well, of course, they require some external factors, and adapting it with the organizational factors, how the Indofood is managing their business. And they will combine it into an HR function. The HR function itself is a global corporate HR role. Standardized training by Indofood that will be applied by the Pine Hill Corpora, which they acquired in, just a reminder, they acquired in 2014. And controlling and monitoring, I think that shouldn't be an issue for Indomie, as they really have a close partnership with Pine Hill Corpora. And risk coordination and management. So those are the HR functions, which will then can be seen in the results from Indofood's performance. So the financial performance, social performance, company exposure, sustainability, competitiveness, and all those performances will be the main indication on how we can analyze whether Indofood managed to conduct a good cross-border acquisition, which is a theory by Dowling. So we're reaching to the end right now. Indofood's merger with Pine Hill Corpora. So Indofood's presence in the Nigerian market is established even more since in 2020, Salim Group, the head company of Indofood, invested their money in this merger or acquisition with Pine Hill Corporation. The money invested is around 2.99, or to be exact, 2.98 million, which is equal to 59% of their positioning in this acquisition. So Indofood has the parent company, the Salim Group Limited, has a very strong positioning in this partnership. They have the biggest share, they have the biggest voice, they have the biggest decisions to be implemented by the Pine Hill Corpora. And Pine Hill Corpora also stated that they are committed to conduct further partnership with Indofood, or to be exact, with the Salim Group Limited, as it is very beneficial for them. Their sales went up, and automatically Indofood's sales also went up, and increasing their shares. Finally, conclusion. Indomie's strategy in Nigeria has been somewhat passive-aggressive throughout the years. Their partnership with Pine Hill Corpora simplified the product's distribution and production. In the aspect of Downing's theory of international human resource management, Indofood successfully implemented host country national strategies for easier management, which are the external factors, organizational factors, HR functions, and the results can be seen by Indofood's performance. And that will be all for this presentation. I hope it has been insightful. I hope it has been not boring, hopefully. And with that being said, if there are any questions that you want to ask me even further, you can email me at rendygustaf88 at gmail.com. But if not, I bid farewell. Thank you for listening, and thank you.